Hello all, I'm going to go over heroic stats and just the stats tab in general today. So if you go to EQ, go look at your stats. I'm going to just go top to bottom, go straight through this. So the upper left part is pretty self-explanatory. Hit points is your max and your current, mana, max and current, endurance, max and current, armor class. The first set of numbers here is actually mitigation, how well you mitigate incoming damage, and then the stat to the right is going to be how well you avoid. So, for obvious reasons, you want both of these numbers fairly high, depending on your class or whatnot, you get better results. And attack is chance of dealing more damage, which is your crit, and chance of landing a hit, your accuracy. Haste is haste, velocity is movement speed. The Regen tab is pretty self-explanatory. For the stats, I'm going to take a little bit of time to explain these, which are relevant and what is not. So if you look at here, there are three different color fonts here. The green font is your modified base. Your white is just your base, and then to the numbers to the right are your heroic numbers, your heroic stats. And these are actually the most relevant and the only ones that are really important in current game. The rest of these here, they don't do much at this point. I would not focus on those at all. So heroic strength. Every 25 points of heroic strength is going to add 1 to your base damage. Every 25 points helps your spell, your shield bash a little bit. Stamina, is basically hit points. Heroic intelligence and wisdom, every 25 points is going to be 1 mana regen, dependent on your archetype. So for example, if you're a wizard, mage, enchanter, necro, every 25 points is going to give you 1 mana regen. If you're a priest class, shaman, druid, cleric, 1 mana regen there. Every point will give you approximately 20 to 25 points of mana. Not bad. Agility every 25 points helps your avoidance a little bit. Dex every 25 points is going to help your parry, repose, to block a little bit, and charisma does absolutely nothing. Resists at this game are pretty useless. They don't do anything really. With current gear and everything, everyone's about the same number, so that's not relevant. Another important thing here are the heroic mods. Heroic mods are directly affected by heroic stats. So depending on your class, certain things here are more useful than others. So if you were to mouse hover over the green font, it's going to actually tell you the next marker that you need to be at. So for example here, if I want to improve my accuracy, I need to increase my heroic dex to 1674 for the next point. You'll see I'm at 1648. If I want to increase my avoidance, 1660, I'm at 1648, so 12 more points there if I want to increase that. Combat effects is your proc rates, 1680. I need a little bit more dex on there. Damage shielding and etc. You guys could go over there. So obviously, depending on your class, you may need different heroic stats. Like as a tank, obviously avoidance and melee shielding are the most important. And to be argued, there are other things as well that's important, but you pick and choose the way you play your class, and that's how you will focus your heroics. Spell mods. These things are important in some regards to keep in mind, but certainly not worth focusing on. These values here, they modify your stuff marginally. So like for example, spell damage, I would say every 200 points is going to increase your DPS by like 5, literally 5 points of damage. So if you're a caster, it's okay. Just keep in mind also spell damage does not affect dots. It does not work on dots. It's only direct damage stuff. It's okay. But I would not strictly focus on it. Same thing with heal amount. It will modify your heals, but not by large margins. As each expansion comes, basically the average, your expected heal amount, spell damage, and such will increase. Clairvoyance is mana preservation. Again, important, but and at the end of the day, it's a stat that just comes from wearing gear, not something that you really focus on. Luck is actually kind of interesting. They work over increments of 10. So if you're at 109, it's the same as having 100. Luck modifies everything pretty much in the game. as far as combats, trade skills, swimming, how much gold you get, and things like that. So certainly a stat to look at. If you can easily upgrade yourself to the next 10 tier, then so do it. Skill damage mods. If you do it for pure melees, it's good. It's not huge damage increase for like bash or kick, but for like backstab and the other stuff, it's good if you do it. So certainly look to get your gear. If you go to like SOD, the Void expansion, you could get some type 3s to increase it if you have those free slots. So that's basically it for the stat page. Again, there's certain classes that are more things that are going to be prioritized, but certainly it depends on how you play your class and to pick. Look at the heroic mods because these are the things that factor into the games. Okay, thank you very much, folks.